Yo guys, welcome back. The Duel Cup second stage has finished, and today we want to take a look at the top decks, top 100 decks here. Unfortunately, we do not have the global rank number 1, as this basically shows us how our meta looks like at the moment, and no big surprise here. The first deck we are seeing is a classic Vanquish soul deck. This deck is just strong at the moment, very consistent, is very good against the whole field, can play Shifter, which is always very, very insane, as we will see in a video that I will post in a few days. But yeah, basically a standard list, though double Pot of Desires and a Pot of Extravagance is definitely a bit, yeah, something else, I would say. A Pot of Prosperity. I'm also running the pot here, but not running the other pots. But you can definitely do this for more consistency. You could also go and run small worlds, but I guess his success gives him or her, whoever that was, the right to, yeah, be right with his list here. No, there can be only ones interesting here. I think this is a very strong one. Maybe not at the moment. Also, there is a Chaos Angel in here, very interesting. Of course, you have space for stuff like the Chaos Angel in your extra deck, because there is basically only the Rock of the Vanquisher that you need in your extra deck. And I also like the Kashtira Rysart here, because if you face Kashtira and they go Shangri Ira Stamper face, then you can use either your Fenrir or your Rysart to make your own Kashtira Rysart. Then we have Global Rank 4 also, Vanquish Soul also with all the pots here. This basically looks like the same list, like the exact same list. It is the exact same list, right? It's just the same list. So seems to be the case that these two people, yeah, it's the same. Seems to be the case that these two people, oh, there's no Kashtira Rysart here. Okay, so not 100% the same, but basically the same. Maybe these two people knew each other. I think they were both from the China region. Okay, no, that one was not. But yeah, pretty standard here. Maybe this deck and the basically the ratios have been figured out at this point. As a few weeks ago, there were definitely a lot of different variations of this deck. But yeah, it's just super, super strong. You could also play the Ghost Spell here if you want more Earth monsters in your deck, because Earth monsters are definitely the type of monsters or the attribute of monsters that you have the least of. But obviously you want most of fire attributes, so this list seems to work. And then you also have stuff like the Triple Tactics Talents here, also with this guy that you can use to break a board, which obviously you can also find via your Pot of Prosperity. Then we have Global Rank 6, no surprise here, the strongest deck at the moment, as the tier lists indicate. We have a 60 card branded list, obviously, with the Grass that is at 1, very interesting that this still works. Grass at 1, branded Fusion at 1, and a 60 card pile, this still works. I'm very surprised. If I look at this deck, it seems to me that it should not work, but it seems to be the case that it does. We also have the Thrust in here, which obviously you cannot really use on your first turn if you get interrupted, because you can then only set your Grass or your branded Fusion. You might be able to set your Fusion duplication here that you can also use to go into your branded Fusion place. But yeah, I'm not surprised that brand Despia is here, but I am surprised that we are seeing this big lists being very successful. That I am surprised with. But obviously we also have cards like the Nadir Servant, which can basically start plays in our deck. So we have 60 cards, but we have a lot more engine stuff, if you want to say it that way. That basically brings us into our place. Then we have Purrely, which obviously is to be expected. I myself was not quite sure whether this deck will be good after the hit to Delicious Memory 2-2, because now you cannot really guarantee getting a Delicious Memory. You would then probably go Delicious Memory, and Pretty Memory. I have not played this deck since the hit. Mainly because I play it in, and also the Purrely, by the way, mainly because I play it in the TCG as well, or played it in the TCG as well, and I needed some break from the deck. Though that means I'm not quite sure whether this combo here, the Ghost Trick combo, still works, because I've heard that now that you only have access to 2 Purrelys, you can no longer go for the Utopic Draco Future, and I think it was 2x Purrely Noir. For everyone playing this crazy build, let me know in the comments what this endboard could look like now with only 2 Purrelys and only 2 delicious memories. But the ghost trick stuff is still in here, though it's obviously a very expensive package with having to use 5 or no, that's not an ultra rare, but 5 to 6 non-engine ultra rares, though Draco Future obviously is kind of a staple. We have another Purrely deck here, which seems to be once again the same as the list above, so really strange here. Okay, it's not the same. We have the driver, the Gamma driver thing here, which is not in here. We are seeing Draw and Lockbird, which is definitely a card that has been around on the ladder in the past few weeks quite a lot. I'm not quite sure why, maybe as a reaction to Manadium being released, though I'm not quite sure why, because I rarely ever see Manadium on the ladder and it's not that strong. Obviously, Draw and Lockbird is very nice against the deck, so that might be the reason why. Another Purrely list, this time not running the, how do you call it, the Ghost Trick package. So more of a basic list here. Interesting that a lot of Purrely lists do run the Psyframe Gear Gamma here. Interesting. I guess you open with your My Friend Purrely then if you can, and then try to search. And if you get Ash, then you can use this. We are not playing the Excel Synchro plus Baron package here, which I think I would play if I would have this, though the extra deck is quite tight. But we are playing X Purrely Happiness. Interesting. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even know what the effect of this card is, even though I played this deck in real life a lot. Obviously, you don't play it there. Then we have Dragon Link, no surprise here at all. A clean 40 list, I like it. Triple Upstart Goblin, interesting. I'm not quite sure why we are doing this. Don't think the deck needs it, but I guess this guy was successful. So what do I know? We are playing quite a big Bestial package here. I think that's fine, as the Bestials can hit some stuff in the meta at the moment quite effectively. And obviously, we have the Disparter, which made this deck way better. Dragon Link, just insane. You can never stop this deck, at least it feels like this. Let me know in the comments if you have made the same experience every time I play against this deck. It does not matter what I throw, whether it's a Maxi or Maxi stops them, but whether it's an Ash or an Effect Veiler, Imperm, none of these cards stop them. You need a Veiler, or you need, sorry, not a Veiler, you need to draw a Knockbird, or you need a Maxi, otherwise you are done for. Then we have another 60 card branded pile here, also playing the Keeper of Dragon, a magic, which basically can add you your branded fusion to the hand, if I'm not mistaken. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard one card, add one polymerization normal. Okay, it can add polymerization, which is not even in this deck, so I'm not quite sure what we are talking about here. Let me read this again. Or fusion normal spell. Okay, it can add the branded fusion. I was a bit confused here as to how this would work, but I mean, it's an interesting tech, right? It's basically an additional Aluba, but worse, obviously, because Aluba has more synergy with the deck all in all. This deck, or this list, seems to be similar to the list we have watched before. We can also see Triple Tactics Thrust 3 times here. And this was also in the list that I copied from April. Shoutouts to her, the Branded Master, which she had also 3 Triple Tactics Thrust in there. And then we are scrolling down, another Purrely here, no big surprise. I guess we will not see any Manadium lists, this is super sad, right? In Master Duel, the combo decks can never be as good as they can in the TCG. Thanks to Maxi, by the way. We are playing Triple Draw Knockbird, Triple Maxi, which I always find these two hand taps to be a bit like counter interactive, because if you throw Maxi and then you want to afterwards throw Draw and Lockbird, then you cannot draw anymore from your Maxi. So these two hand traps are a bit strange in combination with each other, but I guess then you will only throw one of them. And once again, we have the Ghost Trick package here. I'm really surprised, to be honest, that we have seen, or that we are seeing, a lot of Purrely still here, as I was expecting the deck to really drop down in usage. Then we have global rank 23, which I think this person used 2 decks, maybe even need to climb to sorry guys, to the number 23 spot. We have a 60 or 50 card Dragon list here, and then we have Vanquish Soul, which definitely seems to be the top deck at the moment. If we look at the tier list, if we look at Untapped, and if we also look at the results of this year, just super versatile, super strong. You can see that in the beginning, a lot of people were playing the Zodiac package with the Zodiac spell card, basically a 1-card combo getting you into your Dryden and giving you a free pop, but people have opted shifted away from playing this. I'm quite happy with this because that means I don't have to craft 3 ultra rares for that. Then we have another Purrely list, again with Duel and Lockbird, again with the Ghost Trick package, which definitely seems to be the package of choosing or of choice here for all the people playing this deck. Interesting that this never really came up in the OCG or neither in the TCG, as this deck was also played there obviously and still is in both formats, but never really made an appearance over in the paper formats. We have, what is this? We have let's call this a Tearlaments list. Global rank is 26. Tearlaments is crazy list here with cards I've never seen before. Fangly, the Soul Trapome. This card is sent from deck. You get a monster effect. You can special summon this card. Then if you go to another plant monster. Okay, it's a free special summon. That's what I'm reading here. Okay, interesting, but yeah, I mean, what can I say? I wasn't expecting Tearlaments to be or to have a spot here at the top. I mean, you never know, right? They submit their deck list and you never really know whether they have made all the climb with this one deck list here. I think it's very inconsistent, especially. No, it's only 40 cards, but I think it's very inconsistent. So very surprised that the person had such a good finish here. But I guess in the end, at the end of the day, it also depends on how many games you are playing, because if you just play more games, then you will rank up higher. So that might also be a thing. And then we have Mathmech, the first Mathmech deck here, which obviously has the Diameter and the Cyanide Mining It, which I personally think are not really impactful ones. So surprised to not see more of this. This is still very consistent. This is very easy. This is a very easy deck to take somewhere because you just need to have the basic combo ready, and then you basically have an unbreakable board at the next turn, and also your kill combo with your Axis Talker is quite easy. So this is a nice deck that you can take to the ladder or maybe to a tournament, to a Master Duel tournament if you want to do well and do not want to play a more difficult deck, like for example Vanquish Soul, which is a mid-range deck. We have a 60 card branded list, nothing too special here. Let's skip over this. Then we have Endymion. That's cool. This is the only Pendulum deck I ever played and liked. I played this on an alt account. And found this to be quite strong, as your Endymion can pop a lot of cards on your opponent's field. Quite strong here. Very cool and interesting to see it here. Also playing the Promethean Princess, which we definitely will see a lot more of in the future. So get used to this card. We have Mathmech at Ignister, which all the time here on Master Duel and in the in-game usage and win statistics was one of the best decks. The Ignister package, that is. Not quite sure why. Do we play the boss monster? We don't play the boss monster. I see a lot of lists not running the Towers monster, which maybe there is not enough space in here. I'm not super familiar with how the at Ignister stuff works, but yeah, quite nice. As you can see, we don't play a Diameter, we only play the Circular, which has recently, just yesterday, has been forbidden in the TCG. As you can see here, forbidden in the TCG, at 1 in the OCG. I think this will also come to us in the future, so get prepared, Mathmech players, which is also me. But then I will get like back like 90 craft points if that ever happens, so I am fine with that. Then we have Runic Stun. I don't even want to give this deck any, in Deutschland you would call it Bühne, any space to show itself. I'm not quite sure how to translate this. I don't want to give it any room so people can get an idea of what they will play. I just will skip this deck so no one has ever seen it. We have a Labyrinth, of course, really strong, really consistent. What is Power Sink Stone? Each time a monster effect is activated, place 1 spellstone counter on this, while this card Masters of the Field cannot activate their effects and their effects are negated. So this is basically like a skill drain type of card. Interesting. You cannot search it with unset with a lady, so I'm not quite sure why we are not just playing skill drain. Yeah, strange one here, but this is how it sometimes is. We are playing the Nadir package, very interesting. Yeah, I'm really confused. Maybe the person playing this. Of course, skill drain is at 1, so you could go 1 skill drain, 2 power sink stones, but whatever this is. We have another Vanquish Soul list, quite similar list here once again with all the pots in here. So definitely making a note once again, without there can be only one. So it seems to be the case that this deck, at least to an extent, has been solved, as we see a lot of very similar lists. Obviously, solving a deck and knowing what's the best in the deck always takes some time, but we might be there. We have a 51 Dragon Link card with 1/1, but without the grass. What is 1/1? Oh, it can summon the Black Metal Dragon, right? Send from one spinner. Yeah, that's right. You can summon the Black Metal Dragon. That's quite interesting. I like it. And if you're already playing Rickard, then you can just transfer this card. And then we have my hate deck. This is this. So first of all, I hate Punk. I don't know why. I just hate this archetype. And then this is once again this Necrophase, 1,000 cards into the graveyard and just clean out your opponent's deck in the first turn. This reminds me of this meta before Tearlaments, when we only had the Ishizu Shufflers and Millers. This was the worst meta I have ever played in. Definitely did not play a lot in at this time because it was so annoying, and this reminds me of this time. So I'm just going to scroll down here with another Vanquish Soul list again with the pots here, though not all the pots that we have seen. We are also playing a Dear Servant with an Ecclesia. Interesting. And then we have close to the bottom here a Sprite deck, which Sprite has definitely phased out of the meta. You are not seeing Sprite decks anywhere anymore. Cyber, Gadget, the Nimble Musasabi, which obviously now that the Beaver is at 1, you need to have some other cards. When this card is destroyed battle and sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Okay. We're also playing some Tri-Brigade stuff here. Interesting, a very mixed up list. So very interesting that the person was able to achieve such a high rank with a list like this. Then we have Global Rank 100 again, an Endymion deck. Very nice, very cool. Not playing the Promethean. Oh, playing the Promethean Princess. Okay, I'm not quite sure what the Promethean Princess is doing here. Maybe we can revive our Electromite here or whatever beyond. No, so this would be a fire monster, right? Not quite sure what we are doing here, but I am also not the biggest Endymion expert, even though I've played it for some time on an alt account. So okay, this is what it looks like. No big surprise here. I think Vanquish Soul definitely comes away as one of the best decks overall. Oh, you're link climbing up into the Amphibious Swarmshift Ambler Whale, which this will be a 2-card combo that you will use in the future when we have Fire King with the Diabellstar engine and also Rescue Ace with the Diabellstar engine. You will see these 2 cards in close approximation to each other a lot in the future. But yeah, Vanquish Soul definitely dominating. We have a lot of branded lists in here, and then also Purrely is still there, but I think Purrely is just a deck that has a high skill ceiling, so I think a lot of good players, quotation marks, will pick the deck up. Let me know in the comments what you think of the top 100. Have you maybe achieved a high rank? Have you really grinded? Let me know. I have definitely only played until rank 19, where I got all the gems and then skipped the rest. Let me know how much you invested in this Duelist Cup. Always my favorite event. Otherwise, thanks for being here. Maybe if you're here to the end, thanks a lot. That means a lot to me. If you like my content, please consider subscribe, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.